He's challenged critics worldwide to stop grumbling.
Welcome to Watch Mojo. And today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 times movie critics faced justice.
It's precisely the moment where the mutation or beast will attempt to kill an unlikable side character.
For this list, we'll be looking at professional film reviewers meeting their comeuppance on and off screen for rubbing filmmakers and audiences the wrong way. While these critics serve the valuable purpose of keeping quality cinema in check, the responses to their negative or downright controversial opinions can also get cinematic. If you'd like to review these or other events yourself, voice your opinions in the comments. Number 10. Colonel Siskel. You'd think a film actor would want to start on good terms with major film critics.
Listen, Siskel, I just developed some new pictures. Stunning. I'd even make a book. Something like Maplethorpe, only a little bit more personal.
Demon Seed.
Unfortunately for J.K. Simmons, screenwriter Richard LaGravenese was not on good terms with Gene Siskel when he penned the 1994 dark comedy The Ref. In response to a negative review of The Fisher King, LaGravenese created Colonel Siskel. This cruel military school commander who gets blackmailed for an affair was a shot at one of the most prominent movie critics at the time. It also marked minor TV actor J.K. Simmons' fittingly unsettling film debut. Of course, the real Siskel was not amused with The Ref. Simmons has nonetheless gone on to have a stellar acting career despite starting as a pawn in LaGravenese's war.
Not quite my tempo.
Number 9. Elvis Mitchell and the Missing Pipe.
Capsule lost power.
The capsule?
Is that where you are right now, Captain, in the capsule?
You should know. Who are you?
Elvis Mitchell may be one of the most respected film critics today, but he's not the most professionally stable. His briefest stint was as chief critic for Movie Line in 2011. It was for this website that he reviewed the sci-fi thriller Source Code, mentioning that Jeffrey Wright smoked a pipe. The thing is, this character doesn't have a pipe, but director Duncan Jones later tweeted that he did in an early draft of the script.
Source code is not time travel. Rather, source code is time reassignment.
It gives us access to a parallel reality.
Mitchell's baffling observation led many to believe that he didn't actually see the movie and had insider info. David Edelstein recalls seeing his fellow critic at a source code screening, but the scandal still prompted Movie Line to fire Mitchell after just 3 months with the company. Beware of improper sourcing.
And I alter the continuum of this reality from within source code.
This can't be legal what you're doing.
Number 8. Kale the Conqueror. Even when it was first released, George Lucas's Star Wars was loved by almost all. One of the most notable critics to not buy into the hype was the legendary Pauline Kael, who thought the movie was all style and no substance.
I find your lack of faith disturbing.
Years later, Lucas struck back with another fantasy adventure, Willow. It's no coincidence that the general of the evil Nockmaar army was named Kael.
General Kael at last.
My queen, I have destroyed the castle at Galadorn.
Well done.
Even the real Kael's review acknowledged this shadowy villain as an homage. 1988 was a rough year for Kael, who was also the model for an ill-fated film critic in the Dirty Harry movie, The Deadpool. But her influence on the ultimate evil in Willow is the ultimate comeback to her hot takes on classic blockbusters.
Where's Sorsha?
She has turned against His Highness.
Turned against me.
Number 7. The Gremlins Mall Malton.
Hi, I'm Leonard Maltin, and this is the Movie Police.
Joe Dante's Gremlins is widely considered a classic in dark slapstick comedy. However, it went too far for Leonard Maltin of Entertainment Tonight, one of the most prominent movie critics in the 80s, and an old friend of Dante's. He was at least nice enough to accept Dante's invitation to appear in Gremlins 2: The New Batch. The notoriously meta sequel features Maltin rehashing his distaste for the original movie on a fictional review show before being attacked by the Gremlins.
What's fun about a movie full of ugly, slimy, mean-spirited, gloppy little monsters who run amok and attack innocent people? Our moviegoers so desperate for entertainment that this kind of trash can pass for fun. Whoa! Wait a minute! Oh, I'm just kidding!
Thankfully, real-life Maltin lived to declare the movie a smart improvement on the original, though many other critics ironically felt it was too chaotic. They still generally agree that Maltin's cameo was a highlight. More importantly, it may have saved his and Dante's friendship. Number 6. Sean O'Connell turns red. Most critics agree that Pixar's Turning Red is a delightful romp about adolescence that should resonate with most audiences. Cinema Blend's Sean O'Connell gave a mixed review, however.
I like boys! I like loud music! I like gyrating! I'm 13! Deal with it!
It's one thing for a man from O'Connell's background to not relate to a Chinese-Canadian girl who turns into a giant red panda. But O'Connell's claim that this demographic is too niche prompted social media to accuse him of suggesting that only Eurocentric stories are universal. Cinema Blend took down the review and issued an apology on Twitter, as did O'Connell. Some critics agree that Turning Red relies too much on stereotypes and sensitive coming-of-age themes for a kid's movie. Most still say that if O'Connell can't connect to the humanity beneath Mei Lee's fur, that's his problem.
We've all got an inner beast. We've all got a messy, loud, weird part of ourselves hidden away. And a lot of us never let it out. But I did. How about you?
Number 5. The HFPA's diversity problem.
Many talented people of colour were snubbed in major categories. Unfortunately, there's nothing we can do about that. The Hollywood foreign press are all very, very racist.
There's a history of controversy surrounding the practices of the Hollywood Foreign Press Association, the collective of entertainment journalists behind the Golden Globes Awards. But real reckoning came in 2021, when the LA Times reported that not one voting member of the organization was black.
Several industry proponents challenged the Hollywood Foreign Press Association to adopt and advance a substantive agenda for internal reform.
Allegations of racism led to business boycotts of the HFPA and Tom Cruise returning his 3 Globes in protest.
Lord, this black man! I love black people! I love black people!
The scandal culminated in the 2022 Golden Globe ceremony not being broadcast. The HFPA has since made drastic reforms to become more inclusive. It's a cautionary tale of the importance of diversity and different perspectives in film criticism. Still, Gerard Carmichael's host monologue for the 2023 Golden Globes, which did air, reminds us that there's still work to be done.
Gerard, Helen really just wants to educate you on the changes that the organization has made in regards to diversity. And I'll be totally honest with everyone here tonight, I don't really need to hear that. I took this job assuming they hadn't changed at all.
Number 4. Roland Emmerich and Mayor Ebert. Roland Emmerich has made many hit Hollywood blockbusters, but is hardly a critical darling. So when he landed Godzilla, he took a bite out of his most prominent critics.
Didn't we agree that we weren't going to have any sweets until after the election?
Back off, Gene.
Michael Lerner plays Mayor Ebert, a blatant parody of the legendary Roger Ebert, complete with a meek assistant named Gene. He's also an incompetent and neurotic politician who's ill-prepared to handle a giant lizard monster.
What the hell is the matter with you people? You've caused more damage than that goddamn thing did!
All right, Mayor, calm down. Have some candy.
No, I don't want any candy. Leave me alone.
Mayor Ebert is one of the most pointed responses to bad reviews that a director has put on screen. Of course, Ebert and Gene Siskel may have gotten the last laugh. Emmerich's Godzilla was a box office disappointment and got disastrous reviews.
What did you think about Mayor Ebert and his sidekick, Gene?
I thought that seemed petty.
Yeah, I did too.
Funnily, Siskel felt it was a missed opportunity that neither Mayor Ebert nor Gene was destroyed in Godzilla's rampage.
The mayor who destroyed Godzilla.
I don't think we should exploit this. It could backfire.
Listen to me, idiot. I do the thinking around here. It's a magnificent idea.
You know what I think about you and your campaign?
Gene, wait a minute. Where are you going? I need you.
Number 3. David Manning is a fraud.
I have long feared that my sins would return to visit me. And the cost is more than I can bear.
In the early 2000s, David Manning of the Ridgefield Press became Columbia Pictures' go-to guy for glowing reviews to quote on movie posters. No one had ever heard of this critic from a small Connecticut newspaper, not even at the Ridgefield Press. A Newsweek investigation revealed that Sony, Columbia's parent corporation, made up David Manning to flatter their movies.
For I have the pride, the privilege, nay, the pleasure of introducing to you a knight sired by knights, a knight who can trace his lineage back beyond Charlemagne.
It sounds like a harmless publicity stunt, but this reckless false advertising resulted in a court order that Sony paid damages to the state of Connecticut and $1.5 million in refunds to dissatisfied moviegoers.
This is God. You are disturbing the natural order of things and will be severely punished for all eternity. God has spoken.
Sony's own foray into film criticism taught them the hard way how sensitive the profession can be. Someone should have suspected something when Manning even praised Rob Schneider's The Animal.
Now that's good badger milk.
Number 2. Armond White Kicked Out for Heckling.
Something rubs you wrongly. I offer you the opportunity to speak on it.
You ask plainly, so I will tell you plainly.
One of the more infamous critics around, Armond White is known for going against the grain with his opinions and picking fights with the entertainment industry. He even condemned the 2013 masterpiece, 12 Years a Slave, as too sensationalistic.
Takes him to a place where he either makes excuses within his mind to be unaffected, or he finds some way to trample his guilty sensations. And I trampled with frequency.
Nonetheless, his colleagues at the New York Film Critics Circle named Steve McQueen Best Director at a 2014 ceremony. The story goes that McQueen's acceptance speech was disturbed by White heckling him as a garbage man, among other things. This got White kicked out not from the ceremony, but from the New York Film Critics Circle. To this day, he claims that this incident was exaggerated and his expulsion unjust. Perhaps White shouldn't be faulted for his contrarian reviews, but his feuds may go too far.
All I know, we were traveling. We wish we'd die trying.
Survival's not about certain death. It's about keeping your head down.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1. Get ready to rumble.
And I want to explain a little about the financing of my movies and also from Little Germany where the money comes from.
Because you know, there are all that rumors out that my movies are financed with Nazi gold. And what should I say? It's true.
Uwe Boll's movies have gotten more bad reviews than he could possibly respond to. But in 2006, he narrowed down 5 particularly harsh critics to invite to a showdown in the ring.
I live in northern New Jersey, local to New York. Get your fat German ass on a plane to JFK, and ooey, I'll meet you anywhere.
This amateur boxing event, cleverly titled Raging Bull, was initially believed to be a harmless publicity stunt to promote Bull's movie Postal. But the filmmaker went postal himself, clobbering his critics and emerging victorious in all 5 fights.
Thank you that you all came here to support the contenders or me. And the lesson was so bad prepared, like the critics signs the ring.
The bizarre grudge match became as notorious as any action movie Bull made behind the camera. Sure, Raging Bull didn't deter critics from pounding on his subsequent work, but the event should be a warning to reviewers to watch the punches they throw at filmmakers. They might just punch back.
As you have 100% of the people say the guy is a mediocre filmmaker.
Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.